Once in a small town, there lived two best friends, a girl named Sarah and a boy named Tom. They spent every free moment together, walking through the forest or playing games in their cozy tree houses. One day, on a beautiful summer day, they decided to go for a walk in the forest. Sarah was so happy that she convinced Tom to go a little further than they did. They walked deeper and deeper into the forest until they finally discovered a clear pond. It was surrounded by dense trees and looked very inviting. Sarah was charmed by the beauty of the pond and suggested that Tom take a dip in the water. Tom, who didn't know how to swim, didn't want to agree, but Sarah insisted. Finally, he agreed, and they cautiously stepped into the water. The water was cool and refreshing, and they enjoyed its touch. However, suddenly Sarah felt something touch her foot. She shuddered and looked into the water. Something was moving beneath the surface of the water. She began to panic and called out to Tom to help her get out of the water. When they reached the shore, Sarah turned around to look at the water. She saw two hands sticking out of the pond. Sarah screamed in terror as she saw the hands reaching out to them. And a voice from the water said, "I want you." Tom quickly took Sarah's hand, and they ran without looking back. They ran further and further until they finally stopped at an old abandoned house. They entered the house and immediately felt that they were not alone. Footsteps could be heard behind their backs, and they heard a whisper that said, "I found you." They turned around, but they saw no one. They stood still, holding their breath until they heard a strange creaking behind the wall. They decided to check what it was and went after the sounds. They found a secret passage behind a bookshelf and decided to see where it led. They walked down a dark corridor and found themselves in a large room lit only by candles. Strange symbols were written on the walls, and an old book lay on the floor. Sarah and Tom began to study the book and suddenly heard a noise behind the door. They realized they had been found and decided to escape the room. They opened the door and found themselves in a dark corridor they had not seen before. They ran until they ran into a wall. They were trapped. Sarah began to panic, but Tom calmed her down and found a hidden door that led them outside. They ran out of the abandoned house and finally stopped, frozen with fear. They realized that they had almost been killed and never dared to go into the woods alone again. They became so close that they couldn't live without each other and became lifelong inseparable friends.